We can move on to the next session now. Our next speaker is Mario Protilipak. He's a project management expert and trainer based in Croatia, and also a doctoral researcher at Alma Mater European University. He will be speaking on man versus machine, the role of AI and PMOs in overcoming green project sustainability challenges. Over to you, Mario.
Thank you very much, Ritu. As you said, I'm a PhD student at Alma Mater Europea. Reinhard Wagner is my professor there, and it is always challenging to speak after him. The topic that I will speak about today, let me just share a screen with you. I hope you can see it. Let me just put the presenter view. Is man versus machine. So actually, it speaks about the role of the artificial intelligence and PMOs in overcoming green project sustainability challenges. As you can see here, we have three main constructs or three main keywords in this topic. The first one is PMO. We all know a lot about project management offices, but we have also currently one new situation, and that is situation in connecting project management offices with the challenge of sustainability principles and achieving sustainability principles, and also in using artificial intelligence. So the context here that we are talking, that I will talk about is the topic actually explores when artificial intelligence outperforms PMOs in addressing sustainability challenges. In some situations, we already know that artificial intelligence is very, very strong, and it has very good, let's say, competences in achieving some services that are very important for the project success. On the other hand, we also have some specific demands like stakeholder alignment, like ethical judgment, adaptive leadership, where you actually still cannot expect that artificial intelligence will be better or will be more successful than project managers and project management offices. Of course, this is not a competition topic. This is the topic about who is better in which positions, and in which positions, in which situation, the synergy is something that will bring the most of the project success. Some questions that I asked myself when preparing this presentation is actually where artificial intelligence offers unmatched support, and on the opposite, where human insights is irreplaceable. Also, we have the third topic, how the two can work together to drive meaningful, lasting impact. So both project management officers and artificial intelligence. Before we skip into the differences, or let's say strengths and weaknesses of both contracts, we can say just a few words about domains that we are speaking about. So on the other side, we have, on the one side, we have a human domain. We have actually a project manager as a human being. We can also call it a project animal or project being. And on the other side, we have artificial intelligence. Mostly we are speaking now about predictive and generative artificial intelligence. So the basic question where we are speaking about project manager is what is the main competence of project manager which distincts him from the predictive and generative AI as actually a tool. So I found in the scientific literature one very interesting definition, which says that a good project manager officer or project manager is a wise project manager, and conversely acts rightly or does good action in context. So rightly, good action in context are some of the key words of that definition. if we want to dig deeply, we also can say that some characteristics of project managers are knowledge, core personality characteristic, demonstrable performance, and ethical approach is a very, very important characteristic. On the other side, we have predictive and generative AI. I will not speak much about the technical details and differences between predictive and generative, but you probably know already that generative AI refers to large language models, and we use it mostly to generate human-like text and some kind of creative content. It could be some graphs, pictures, and so tables. On the other hand, we have also a predictive artificial intelligence, and the main characteristic of predictive is to identify some patterns and some trends, and then we can use it to forecast some future events. For example, if we want to find out which are the most probable or most intensive risks in some construction work project in, for example, Croatia, where I'm coming from. So these are the two main domains. The third domain that we are speaking about is sustainability. So sustainability, you already know, I'm sure about that most common definition from 1987 that says that it is the development that meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. But the more important thing now, from the context of projects, is that we actually can speak about two different positions of sustainability. The one is the sustainability on the project, and the second one is sustainability by the project. So there is a big difference between those two. The first one, if we are speaking about sustainability on the project, we are actually speaking about any kind of project. Nevertheless, what will be the final result of or product of that project? For example, we can speak about building a bridge or something like that, some construction work project that doesn't have a necessarily sustainable product at the end. But during the process, we can think about how to make that project more sustainable, or how to put some sustainable elements to make it more green. For example, if we are building that bridge, we can think maybe about on using recycled construction materials, or we can use a solar power for lighting of the bridge. Sustainability by the project is maybe even stronger in sustainability impact, and actually it refers to the outcomes or deliverables of the project and their long-term impact. For example, the typical project where we can have a sustainability by the project should be a construction of a solar power plant or flood production system. So the main goal of the project is to produce some sustainable product or some sustainable outcome at the end. So these are the two main differences. So the questions actually that comes out from those three constructs, artificial intelligence, PMO, and sustainability, are in which aspects can PMO influence more effectively on sustainability than artificial intelligence, where the human perspective is stronger, let's say it like that. The second question would be, where are the advantages of artificial intelligence in contributing to sustainability goals? So in which services artificial intelligence has a stronger impact than human perspective, and also how can we be stronger or make some kind of synergy effect by combining artificial intelligence and PMO competences. So here there is a very short description, or I will actually go shortly through this slide because there is a lot of information here. But here I try to identify some roles of the PMO that could contribute to sustainability. In the first column, we actually have the PMO service domains. We have project governance and oversight. We have performance monitoring, And reporting, we have project portfolio management, methodology tools development, capacity building and training, knowledge management, and so I will not read all. But for example, if we take knowledge management, the question is, how can PMO achieve sustainability through this particular service domain? So examples could be capturing lessons learned from past sustainability-oriented projects, or maintaining a repository of sustainability guidelines, policies, and toolkits, facilitating communities of practice around green project management. So building, let's say, a knowledge base. On the other hand, we can maybe skip to project governance and oversight, the first one, and we can say that PMO can enforce sustainability criteria in project approvals. For example, if we want to assess projects or see which one project should be more prioritized on our project base, project portfolio, or project pipeline, whatever, one of the criteria could be a sustainability criteria of the project. Also, ensuring alignment with ESG standards and sustainability frameworks. This is one actually very important question, especially for us who work a lot in European Union funded projects. For example, we have do no significant harm principle, we have EU taxonomy rules that we have to take into account when delivering project, but also when designing the project. So PMO has a very strong role in that process. Also tracking sustainabilities, setting KPIs, assessing KPIs, evaluating project success, and so on and so on. So these are possible roles of the PMO in achieving sustainability. And on the next slide, we have all three contracts in one single table. First, we have PMO services that we saw on the previous slide. We have some identified AI advantages. Also, we have identified PMO advantages and the possible synergies. If we are talking about project governance and oversight, as you remember from the previous, it's about prioritizing projects and so. AI advantage would be to make automated policy compliance checks, predictive risk analytics, and anomaly detection in project data. So this is the strong point of the artificial intelligence, especially if you are using the predictive one. What would be the PMO advantage in this process? So it will be based on strategic judgment, ethical reasoning, and organizational alignment. Ethical reasoning, for example, if we have a very high level of rate of one project in our project pipeline, it still doesn't mean that from the ethical point of view, that project should be put on some highest level in our company. And actually, AI still hardly can be involved in that part of the process. The synergy would be to give the best of the AI, and that would be support rule-based analysis. And after that rule-based analysis, PMO will actually provide a strategic oversight. We can take one more example maybe. For example, performance monitoring and reporting. So the AI advantage would be real-time data collection, visualization, making graphs and so dashboards, and KPI trend prediction using machine learning. PMO advantage would be contextual interpretation of data, human validation of performance implications. And synergy would be AI delivers real-time insights that PMO translates into informed action. We can go on, so through project portfolio, methodology, development, capacity training, and we will have a very, very similar answers and very, very similar results. This is something that we can actually say that it is still quite a theoretical way of viewing. So I was quite curious, and me and my colleague Jelena Klejt-Šebrek, we made a short research actually and tried to experiment with three experienced project managers and three usually used generative AI tools. we actually prepared three different contextual questions. These questions are not about resource allocation or about risk prediction. These are, let's say, real-life project questions connected with some particular problems in project implementation. For example, the first one is context of the situation. We are implementing some project or for some public sector client, and we were chosen, our company were chosen through the public procurement procedure. During the process, we actually find out that that public institution had another wish. They wanted another consultants to make the same service that we are currently doing, and they are quite unhappy with our outputs, but without any real reasoning that is probably connected with our contract, terms of reference, technical specifications. So they are just unhappy. Whatever we send, they say it's a rubbish. So the question is, what 3 steps will you make in that situation? We asked that question to artificial intelligence, 3 different artificial intelligence tools. We used PMI's, PMI has Infinity. We used ChatGPT and Perplexity. The same with the second question. When we have a person who is not so cooperative, he's very experienced engineer, but he doesn't send some timesheets regularly. He avoids his administrative task. He has some communication issues with some team members. And so also the question was, what 3 steps would you make to resolve the conflict situation? And the third question is maybe more the most connected with PMO. We have infrastructural project. And the question is what approach or what methodology, rather the agile one or the traditional one, would be better to implement such construction projects. So 3 questions asked to 3 experienced project managers on the one hand and 3 AI tools. So these are the results of our analysis. We also took actually Reinhard mentioned it a few minutes ago, IPMA ICB model as a background for our analysis criteria. So as you can see on the right side of this, we made some rates for example, accuracy, relevance of data and speed, critical thinking, creativity, emotional intelligence, communication, collaboration, risk management, cost efficiency, and generally ICB criteria. On the right hand, you can see the total AI result is 9 for accuracy, relevance of data and speed, and total human was only 3. So in that part of accuracy, relevance, data and speed criteria, AI showed actually, let's say, almost total dominance. In critical thinking, for example, problem solving and context, what is maybe a little bit surprising, also AI is better, but not much better than human. In which positions or which criteria human made the better results? In creativity, flexibility, emotional intelligence, communication, collaboration. And they are quite similar in risk management, and also cost efficiency is better if from the position of artificial intelligence. One conclusion of this small experiment is that AI gained higher scores in repetitive structure situations, excels in criteria, speed, accuracy, cost, and efficiency. He prioritizes better and provides faster and well-structured answers. For example, on the other hand, the human excels in criteria, communication, creativity, emotional intelligence, more subjective approach affected by personal experience. And also there is empathy and team dynamics. As you can see, actually that experiment is quite in line with the previous analysis where we are analyzing the PMOs service domains and the possibility of artificial intelligence or human, how to improve it. Here are also some recommendations for future research. What would be interesting maybe in some other experiments is to use AI to assess answers on human respondents, to apply similar methodology to presented PMO functions aligned with sustainability, which we actually didn't do. We asked some general project management situations that are not quite connected with sustainability issues, and compare results among different geographies, sectors, respondents, profiles, and so. And also the last one, to repeat the same questions and observe AI generated answers with improved models in close future, because we all know that AI rapidly changes and improves. So it will be interesting maybe to ask the same questions for 6 months or 1 year after and compare with the results that I presented. Very shortly, I have also one case study where I try to assess or evaluate 2 different projects from the perspective of human evaluator and artificial intelligence. I put the projects. These projects are research and development projects. One is connected with microgrids with renewable energy sources and hydrogen technologies, and the second one is based on microgenerative generator for excessive heat recovery. Both are, machinery and physics projects, but with a different perspective. The second one with hydrogen is has a more emphasized sustainability by the project. So the final project is very sustainable. It's a microgrid with hydrogen technology. And the second one has a strong sustainability on the project. So within the project, there are a lot of activities that are actually boosting sustainability. It is interesting that artificial intelligence gave actually the same rate, 9 out of 10 for both projects, and it didn't recognize this situation between sustainability on and sustainability by the project, although there were questions and prompts striving it into that direction. For a human evaluator, on the other hand, recognized that the second project with hydrogen has a more sustainability by the project impact than the previous one, and it was rated 9 out of 10 in comparison with 7 out of 10 for the first project. Just a short conclusion, because we are running out of time, I think. While artificial intelligence effectively elaborated all the elements of the project that contribute to sustainable development, it was unable to distinguish and prioritize the relative importance of these elements. On the other hand, humans didn't provide such effectively elaborated answers, but on the other hand, they recognized the let's say the fine differences between these 2 projects. Also, there are some recommendations and directions, but since we are run out of time, I think that we can go maybe through your comments and your questions if there are any. Here is actually the comparison, key advantages, key challenges and solutions, but we already emphasized these through the previous slides. That one I put here intentionally, so you can see conclusions and challenges from this presentation. If you see on the left side, you see those pictograms, and it's obvious that it was generated by ChatGPT. And it was, by my opinion, very good conclusion of this presentation. So AI powerful enabler, not replacement. AI improves efficiency and insight. Limitations require oversight and so on. Ethical and contextual oversight by the PMO is critical. And I actually didn't have anything to add. So my question is, can you add something more? Or can you ask some questions or make a comment that maybe could improve that AI-generated conclusions? Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mario. There is a question which is, in what direction should PMOs prepare for the use of AI, and what are the prerequisites for successfully implementing AI within the PMO to maximize sustainable development goals?
Okay, thank you very much for the question. Well, I would say that it is very important good collaboration with other organizational units. So PMO cannot solely implement AI. It has to cooperate with other units, technical unit managers, consultants, engineers, and so. And also, what is very important for the whole process to be successful is communication between project professionals or project managers and the PMO. That two-way communication is very important in that process. I would say the second precondition is actually continuous capacity building, because the artificial intelligence is very rapidly growing area. So something that you know yesterday about AI today is maybe not relevant anymore. So it's very important to change to adapt very rapidly. And maybe also we can say that because this is highly dynamic space ecosystems where all stakeholders have to be adaptable and ready for rapid and constant changes. That would be, let's say, some kind of conclusion here.
Thank you so much, Maria.
You're welcome.